Hello, everyone. Hi, hi. Can well, yeah. Hi, everyone. Hi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever it is that you're plugged in from. I hope that you came expectant because there's a lot to learn, there's a lot to know, there's a lot to see here today. If you're connected live, you could drop a comment so we know that you're here with us. You could just send a comment with your name and the country that you're joining in from so we get to introduce ourselves and meet each other in the comments. Obviously, we'd have more opportunities to meet after the sessions, but this is a great opportunity for you to introduce yourself. So just drop your name in the chat box, whatever country you're plugging in from, and obviously what you do in the games ecosystem as well. So yeah, my name is Faith Benson. I am a program and project manager in the games industry, and it's really great to meet you all. I don't see any comments yet. It'd be really lovely to know who I'm chatting with this evening, who I'm speaking with this evening. So please drop your name and country in the comments box so that we get right started. Very important to note that this is not going to be one of those streams where you just join in and just watch like you're watching TV. This is going to be very interactive. So I'd love if all the ladies connected on YouTube could drop their names and countries in the chat box so we get interacting and get started. So yeah, if you're just joining, drop your name, country you're connecting in from in the comments box so that we get to meet each other. It's a really great opportunity for us to connect with everyone. This is not going to be, like I mentioned earlier, this is not going to be one of those streams where you're just watching live TV. This is going to be very interactive. This is a session. It's all the sessions are going to be very interactive forums. So it's really important that you get to meet other girlies from across the world who are in the games industry as well. Gamers, streamers, game developers, game designers, whatever it is that you do in the ecosystem. It's going to be awesome if you get to introduce yourself and meet other ladies as well. I have a very short presentation that we're going to be taking before we go right into the sessions for the day. It's going to cover what this whole forum is about, what we're doing here, why we decided to meet, why we decided to do this, why did we decided that this is the right time to have this forum, and gather ladies from across the world to meet and share you know, our experiences and expertise as well. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Women in Games Forum. And yes, right on cue. So yeah, I would make sure that all of this and all of this information is made available to everyone who's connected. So right after the stream, if you are registered, you're gonna get this PDF file dropped into your mailbox, so you can go over it in detail again, and get your. We would love to get your feedback and address your questions as well. So the Women in Games Forum is an ambassador-led Women in Games event. If you do not know what the Women in Games International does, it's a platform for women who are coming into the gaming ecosystem. So they support women, they build women, they bring together women from across the world who are into the game development ecosystem, interactive and immersive media generally, and provide a platform for them to grow and get better at their craft as well. And the Women in Games International has an ambassadorship arm where women like me, women like you, who are working in the ecosystem, can stand out and spotlight other women as well. Can connect, can basically have this platform to do much more for the industry. So yeah, that is what we're doing, and this is one of those. This is one of those outlets from the platform that Women in Games has. So this entire forum is for us to build connections, get to meet each other, get to step up, basically get to collaborate and build something bigger together as well. So yeah, who am I? I am a program and project manager. I do have a background in healthcare, but I pivoted into the immersive and interactive media industry, and this is what I do: managing games, managing projects, programs as well, and lots of other um, activations within this space. I work with Africa Communicate. I've led projects like, Spark Fellowship, Gameathon, events like that. I'm sure you get to know more about it as time goes on. And like I mentioned, all of this information is going to be shared across to everyone who is attending here today. So you would have the time to go over it and look at it again. So why are we doing this? Like I said, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like I did say earlier, this matters because I'm sure that if you're in the ecosystem, you've heard the projections, you've heard the numbers, you've heard that the global games and interactive media industry is projected to hit, over 500 billion in coming years. And I know that for lots of young developers, lots of women, lots of people generally in the ecosystem down south here may not directly see the impact of this growth, and we're like, are you sure? Are you sure this? Where's all this money going? But it is growing. It is growing. The ecosystem is growing, and the forecast of even much more growth in the coming years as well. So it really matters that we put ourselves together. We lay that platform for collaboration and cohesiveness as well, so we can grow as a community. Next off, representation matters. It's really important that women and younger girls get to see people like themselves trailblazing in the industry, doing amazing things, because no matter how you want to discredit the fact, no matter how much you think it's not significant, it is very significant. And consciously or subconsciously, seeing people like yourself doing these things kind of inspires you to do these things yourself and do even more. It kind of gives you permission to be the amazing person that you are. So this is why this platform matters. So you get to see amazing women who are doing the kind of things that you want to do or hope to do in the future, and it should inspire you to do even more as well. And yes, networking for access and support. Like I mentioned before we started, drop your name, what you do, and your country in the comments, right? Because you get to meet other people, you get to collaborate. We've heard the age old saying, if you want to go far, go with a lot of other people. That is going to make the journey even more lovely, even more fulfilling at the end of the day. So, yeah, what is the industry looking like today? What exactly is going on around the world? If you're new to the games and immersive media industry, you might be wondering what exactly is happening here, because you may not see a lot of news about the games ecosystem on mainstream media. Unless you are plugged into the gaming niche and media outlets, you may not see so much happening. So you might be wondering what exactly is happening within the ecosystem. So there's lots of things going on in the global workforce. There are lots of women coming into the industry. There are lots of communities emerging. There are lots of new studios coming up. There are lots of women stepping into leadership roles as well. So we're seeing lots of women coming to the spotlight in huge gaming companies and communities and organizations and all of that across the world beyond Africa. We're seeing women stepping into lots of strategic and leadership roles as well, shaping the narrative and where the future is going to move to in the next 5, 10 years. And, all of that is going on. We're also seeing a lot of Thank you very much. We're also seeing a lot of innovation in the younger population. Before it's going to be those who have like 10 years experience or 20 years experience in the industry. But now we're seeing really cool stuff coming from indie devs, people who just came to the industry and like 2, 3 years, and they're building amazing stuff and putting it out there, and it's going global. So yeah, these are some really amazing things happening in the industry. Um, yeah. So we could take a look at women shaping the industry. Number one, we have Lympho Moeti, and round of applause. Thank you very much. And yeah, Limpo Moeti is the new chair for the IGDA. And if you do not know the IGDA is the International Game Developers Association. And she recently was boarded, I think, 2, 3 months ago as the new chair for the IGDA, which is a very huge feat. And her experience in the games industry started about 10 years ago, where she started as a producer at Free Lives, which is a studio in Southern Africa. That's where she went on to build the foundation of her career. She went on to co-create Playtopia, which is one of the hugest gaming ecosystem events in Africa as a whole. And yeah, went on to work at Yamakop Games, Rocket Ride Games, with production, with business development, all of that stuff, organizing jams. And most importantly, she's a very passionate community advocate. And yeah, there was an interview she did with a media house recently, where she mentioned that if we are going to do capitalism, because I mean that's where the world is moving, if we're going to do that, let us do it in a way that nobody loses out. Let the entire community come together and benefit from this, which is one amazing thing about Limpo herself. So shout out to Limpo Moiety, round of applause please. And obviously, if you do not know so much about any of these women who are being spotlighted, it's you could just do Google search. I'm sure they're on LinkedIn. You could check out their work, and not just to connect with them, but to be inspired as well. Look at their journey and glean from that as you go on to blaze a path for yourself as well. Next up, we have Sipe. Round of applause. Drum rolls. That was nice. And Sipe is Zambian. She started off as a Zambian game developer, and she started off with game development. Went on to become a game producer, and she's also a very strong advocate for community building as well. And one amazing thing that she did was put gaming in the global spotlight when she became, an Obama Foundation scholar for her game that she created to expand access, for young Africans, the game jams and all that she organized, which was super awesome. She's organized a lot of, game jams, Game Plus Girls, all of that stuff, basically just supporting communities. I think she's one of the people who understand how important it is for communities to come together, to build together, and not in silos or in isolation. Currently, she is a producer at Yamakop, and she serves as an advisor for the Black Voices in Gaming internationally, as well as an advisor for Humble Bundle's Black Game Developers Fund. All of that is to right to her roots, assist younger creatives, get the community up, get people building, get them the visibility and support that they need to place their trail as well. So, like I mentioned, we're going to have all of this. We're going to have all of this sent to your emails. So we're going to have all of this sent to your emails. So yeah, you could check it out more and do well to check them out, check out their journeys, and get yourself inspired as well. So yeah, round of applause for Sife. She's doing amazing stuff. Okay, and next off we have Joanna Ricker. Joanna is an ex drum rolls. Thank you. Joanna is a business developer. She's an experienced business developer with over 20 years of experience in strategy, consultation, especially for younger markets, new and emerging markets in tech. And she is the founder of Game Merging Consulting, which is basically a consultation firm helping governments, organizations, studios, younger agencies to leverage these new technologies to grow their business and reach out for better impact. She has served as the strategic partnerships and business dev manager for Middle East and Africa for Unity, and also contributed globally as a board director for the Global Game Jam. All of these for newbies, because I know that we did open these up for people who are interested in the games ecosystem and you want to look into and see how to plug in. So obviously this is going to be shared with you. You can check out Global Game Jam, you can check out Unity, you can check out all of these organizations and what they mean. If we do have time, we're going to go into those in detail as well. She's also an award-winning diversity advocate and a speaker. She's a professional coach. She's a philanthropist. She's an amazing woman. And while all of this is going on, I do want to point out that she is a huge pillar for the industry. She's out there doing amazing things in the games industry, and she's not a game developer, right? Round of applause, because all industries need different parts to work as an organization. You need an arm, you need a head, you need a leg, and all of that. So even beyond game engineering, even beyond game design, there are business developers, there are marketers who are making such amazing waves in the industry, and they deserve to be spotlighted as well. So a round of applause for Joanna. Yes, and we have Wendy Daki. Wendy Daki. Wendy Daki is amazing. She is an amazing Kenyan video game writer. She's someone who is very passionate about media. I've had the privilege to meet with Wendy myself, and from the way she speaks, you can tell how passionate she is about media, about journalism, about telling a brand story. And so, beyond that, she's also a creative tech educator. She champions, African voices, inclusivity, well-being, and all of that. She founded WAI Network, which is a platform for storytelling and all within the creative tech ecosystem. And she's an ambassador for Safe in Our World. So Safe in Our World is an organization that champions inclusivity and well-being in the workplace, especially in the games industry, making sure that people within the industry are mentally, in a safe space to be able to be creative and build work as they ought to. So, yeah, she's an amazing woman. Round of applause for Wendy. You do should check her out and connect with her across platforms. Yes, and next on the list is Bukola Akingbade. Round of drum rolls. So when it comes to Western Africa, Bukola is amazing, especially in Nigeria. She is the founder and CEO of Kucheza Gaming, which is one of the most influential organizations in the game dev ecosystem in Nigeria. And beyond, just having a studio building stuff, she's also very passionate about education, youth literacy, trainings, and all of that. I think they currently Kucheza is, Nigeria's only Unreal Engine certified training center, in the entire country. And beyond that, yeah, round of applause. She's organizing all of these to shape the industry. She's also the organizer of Lagos Games Week. I'm sure you must have heard of Lagos Games Week. It's the one of the hugest events gathering game devs, game designers, people in the gaming ecosystem to get to connect and all of that and build amazing stuff. So here's to Bukola. Round of applause. Do check her out and connect with her as well. Next on our list, we have Nadia Adiambo. Drum roll, please. Yes. So Nadia is the founder of Nalo Studios, is a creative studio based in Kenya, Nairobi. And she creates animated content. She does visual storytelling. Um, Beyond that, beyond what she does, she creates such a huge opportunity for emerging artists and younger creatives as well. She's contributed to huge projects like the anthology series Kizazimoto, and she also works across different domains in the creative industry. Writing, animating educational content, entertaining content, all of that stuff. And you didn't hear it from me, but super secret sources say that she's working on a top secret game project. And once it's out, you'd be the first to know if you connect with her and check her out on socials. So, yeah, do well to check her out on socials, check out her journey, and get inspired as well to build whatever it is that you want to build for yourself. Round of applause for Nadia. Next on the list is a long list. Let me just let you know that it is a long list. There are amazing women doing amazing things all across Africa, and I think that it's really important for uh, maybe you're an older woman, but I wanted to say younger women like us to know that there are people blazing a path. Know that people are doing so many amazing things to get inspired and grow ourselves. So next on the list is Samia Chelby. She's Tunisian. She's thank you. She is Tunisian. She's an educator. She's an innovator, and she's had over 25 years of experience across software engineering, digital arts, trainings, and all of that stuff. She founded the first 3D animation education training center, basically in Africa. I think it's called 3D Net Info. So yeah, you could check that out as well. She also did, founded Digi Art Living Lab, all of that focused on digital arts, animation, and basically to innovate towards social impact as well. And it's certified by the European Network of Living Labs as well. And beyond that, in addition to all of that, she also co-founded African Game Dev, which is like a program for growing game devs. So all of that, she leads the creative and digital industries group within the Tunisian government's Confederation of Enterprises as well. All of that is to advocate for younger, smaller industries. The game development industry is one of the newer budding industries, especially in the African atmosphere. So she works with the government to throw spotlight on that and get this sector the spotlight that it deserves. So yeah, round of applause for Samia. She's doing amazing stuff. Next off on our list, yeah, it's a long list, like I mentioned. So, before we go right on, if you know of any amazing woman doing amazing things in game development in Africa, go ahead and drop the name in the comments, drop her name in the comments, drop whatever amazing thing she's building as well in the comments box. We do well to check that out, and get everybody watching and viewing as well to check them out as well, and get themselves inspired and check them out. So you can go ahead and do that now in the comments. But yeah, next up we have Joanna Oluch. Drum rolls, please. The drum rolls take longer every time. It feels like it's stretching out, but yeah, well deserved. Joanna is a Kenyan game designer and XR developer, and she uses XR technologies in games, and she does all of that to reconnect people into nature. She did has she I'm sorry, she does have a background in mechatronics engineering, which is very techie. So yeah, Joanna, good for you, ups to you. And then she transitioned into game development through teaching and the Malio Games boot camp. And I think we would put, throw a spotlight on educational programs like this and boot camps like this much later on. But she did, she was self-taught and she went through this boot camp, built her first indie project, and now she's the founder of Argo. Argo is amazing. Argo is an augmented reality hiking game, kind of inspired to preserve a forest that is being abandoned and all, getting people to be more aware of their environment and reconnect with natural spaces. And Argo has won support from huge organizations like Electric South, Ford Foundation, the National Film Foundation, all of that stuff. It's one of the leading projects in Africa. And yeah, round of applause for Joanna, who's doing some really amazing stuff. Big ups to her. Next up, we have Mary Grace. Drum rolls, please. She is a Rwandan content creator and entrepreneur, and she uses games to, promote culture and promote exploration. She is the founder of Huza, which is, a culturally centered game, and she's built games like Battle of Animals, and yeah, her work, with Huza was spotlighted at the Hanger Pitch Fest. She was ranked as one of Rwanda's top innovators. Um, After like a short break from her career, she did come back with Nomad, which is one of the newest inventions of Huza, which is like a gamified travel experience where people get to reconnect, connect with each other, reconnect with nature as they go through travel experiences and all of that. Recently, there was like a 30-day exploring Kigali challenge and all of that, featuring their curated group experiences, create curated games, and all of that. So she makes adventure and travel to be much more cohesive and much more grounded to a person's true self. So yeah, big ups to Mary Grace doing amazing things in Eastern Africa. And yeah, if you haven't yet, do go ahead and drop, whoever you know who's doing amazing things in the industry. We would be really happy to see your comments as well, and we would get to check them out too ourselves. Yeah, so next up we have Grace James. Grace James, Chris James is a Nigerian game developer. She's a climate advocate and she founded Green Quest Innovations. So Quest Innovation is a is a game, basically a gamified learning platform, but it is a game, and you get to learn through the game how to care about your environment, how to advocate for sustainability, and be more environmentally responsible as you deal with the world around you. She's reached thousands of children and young people with her game. Really amazing stuff. Really amazing stuff. Even recently, she was named one of the finalists in the 2025 Falling Walls Engage Forum, which is a very huge deal because she was able to merge, climate technology, climate advocacy with, such new and emerging technologies such as gaming for social good, which is amazing. Big ups to Grace James. Amazing work she's doing. Next off, we have Pascalia Yamita from us. Pascalia is the founder of Elimu Global. It's a growing movement that is meant to bridge continents, bridge Africa and Europe. It's an amazing program. So the point of the entire program is to get African and European game devs to co-create and build together. So we each get to bring our unique strong points and merge them together to create really groundbreaking projects, which is amazing. So her work is, pushing for collaboration, pushing for inclusivity, and all of that. She's also a PhD researcher and a gender and a development specialist as well, which is pretty cool stuff. And beyond all of that, she has taken her work with, Elmo Global to the TEDx stage, and she did speak earlier on not quite long ago on TEDx Space, TEDx Athens, I believe, speaking about the Ubuntu Game Jam. She is planning to, bring collaboration between African and European game developers. Amazing stuff, amazing stuff, amazing stuff. So yeah, big ups to Pascalia. Next up, we have Veronica Singh. Yeah, Veronica is a software dev and a game creator. She's also, someone who's passionate about community building across Southern Africa. She has worked with large initiatives, smaller initiatives, and all of that stuff. She's a Women in Games ambassador. She's a Game Jam Plus organizer. She's a Women Game Jam organizer. You know, all of this stuff is just to show her heart for community, for bringing people together, for collaboration, and all of that. She is CEO and founder of Web Anim as well, where she teaches, game design, game development, and does mentorship for younger devs, people trying to get into the ecosystem, and all of that. She's someone very passionate about education, community, and collaboration. So big ups to Ronica. She's doing amazing. So do check them out. Do check everybody out, and make sure to connect with them as well. Yeah. Next on our list, we have Janet. Janet Ijeoma. So, Janet is Nigerian. She is a passionate game enthusiast. She serves as the Women Game Jam organizer and the Game Jam Plus organizer. Sorry, and I believe she's also Women in Games ambassador as well. Pushing for advocation, especially for women and girls. I mean, through Women Game Jam, through Game Jam Plus, through Women in Games, all of this is to push representation for younger girls, women, and make the African gaming ecosystem a lot more gender inclusive, safer, as well as make all these trainings and resources available for people looking to come into the industry. So big ups to Janet. She's doing amazing stuff. Check her out. Learn from her journey. Get inspired and all of that good stuff. Round of applause for her. Next up, we have Joy Mawela. Joy is the head of the digital content hub at Shimologong Digital Innovation Precinct, and she has a long history of experience, especially when it comes to digital media infrastructure, when it comes to training, when it comes to going to market opportunities and management in general. She's one of the leading forces in South Africa's gaming ecosystem. She has a background in film and video production, and then she got to bridge media and all of that, media policy and branding into the African video games ecosystem. It's a stronger effort so that we have a better representation across media, as well as excuse me, as well as a sort of collaborative effort to push video games, video game producers, video game designers, indie studios, and amazing things that the African space is building to the general population in a way that is much more exciting. So yeah, big ups to Joy. She's doing amazing stuff in the industry. We're really happy to have her, and you should be inspired. You could go check out her journey, how she got to transition across different industries, and how she's doing in this space, so you get inspired as well. Round of applause for her. Next up on the list, we have Avuzwa. I'm sorry. So Abuzwa is a game developer. She's the co-founder of South Game Studio. She's one of South Game Studio is one of South Africa's black-owned, women-led indie game studios, which is amazing. She builds games that are very culturally grounded, games that are Afrocentric, basically. And I think one of their flagship projects is one that is very really blends a traditional culture with industry norms and all of that, getting better representation for the African culture as well. She's also a project manager at Shimilgong Digital Innovation Precinct, and she leads creative tech startups, mentors emerging devs, and all of that stuff. Thank you. Round of applause for Buzwa. Next up, we have Dominique. Dominique is the managing director of Free Lives. Thank you. One of South Africa's influential game studios, and she's also the festival director of Playtopia. Playtopia is one of the hugest industry events. I think I mentioned that earlier in this presentation, and she stands at the forefront of the African games industry. She has a background in music and entertainment before she went into Free Lives as a director, and she's also I think a lot of people give that review as well that she's very well-being conscious. So the team members are, in a space where they can actually create and experiment and bring out amazing works. Round of applause for Dominic. Thank you. Next up on our list, we have Nikki Vicentin. Nikki is the head of HR at. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Nikki is the head of human resources at 24-Bit Games, and she's very involved in community building at the grassroots level. She hosted the first ever Girls Game Jam South Africa this year, 2025, which is an important milestone. Just girls jamming, building games, really sweet stuff. And she represents 24-Bit Games in broader conversations, in studio work, in growth, inclusivity, and dev, and all that amazing stuff. Round of applause for Nikki. I'm rushing through because we do have a lot to get to. And next up on our list, we have Kirsten Lee. Kirsten Lee is South African, and she's the head of publishing at a Swedish game studio, Landfall. And they've been known for amazing titles like Peak. I believe Peak won about 3 to 4 awards at the, at the recent Game Awards and all of that. She's also a member of the Wings Fund Selection Committee. So Wings is an organization that funds girl gamers, so girl studios, girl indie studios, everything girls. If you're building something, get to apply to Wings. They're going to fund and support that if it's a feasible business idea. So she's doing amazing stuff there. She's also a business dev at Playtopia, doing amazing stuff. She started off, account management, consulting, business development, and then moved into publishing and all of this amazing stuff. So yeah, round of applause for Kirsten. Round of applause for Kirsten. And then so amazing stuff. We have a couple of speakers with us who'd be joining us to share a bit more about their experience and what they've been building, what they've been going through, and all of that. So you get to be inspired. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's really important that you're here to learn, collaborate, and get inspired by the amazing journey that they've gone through to encourage you to do it yourself. I'm going to go through a couple of organizations that are positively changing the game dev ecosystem. So we have Black Voices in Gaming, which is basically for Black game developers, underrepresented talents, and all of that. So they do trainings, they do business development, they do community building, all of that to spotlight young studios that are led by Black game devs and all of that to push them, get them better representation and all of that. So do check that out if you something that you need, creative support and all that. You should check out Black Voices in Gaming. Next up, we have Women in Games. Round of applause for Women in Games. This is an ambassador-led Women in Games event, after all. So the Women in Games International is a non-profit, which is just basically established to build an industry where women and girls can thrive. So the entire, because I mean, for most technical sectors, they're mostly male dominated. So women games came up and say, you know what, this ecosystem, we're not going to let it be male, dominated. We really want women and girls who want to come in to have the support, to have the inspiration that they need at every step of their career to grow the way that they want. So here comes Women in Games, amazing stuff that they're doing and building. Next up, we have the International Game Developers Association, the IGDA. I did mention it earlier, which is like a huge, the largest nonprofit basically serving game developers and people who create games. They have members in over 100 countries. They continue to, support and empower game developers, young studios, individuals, and companies as well, throughout their professional careers. And it also has the foundation, which is like the charitable arm of the IGDA, which supports marginalized creators, people from underrepresented backgrounds, women, all of that, to get them access to career building opportunities, funding, training, all of that stuff, so that they can grow and thrive in the industry as well. And next up, we have Black in Gaming Foundation, which is a foundation built to basically get Black professionals the visibility that they need to build a profitable network, get to see a pathway for their career to grow. And they have like the Black in Gaming Awards, they have community networking events and all of that. Do check out all these communities. They're gonna give you the support that you need if you're thinking of paving a path within the industry. Next up, we have Black Girl Gamers. Black Girl Gamers is building a safe space for Black women, to Black women to connect, to play, to share their experiences, to grow. I think there was a recent report where it's like lots of women who are gamers get to face so much um, mental abuse and all of that in the online gaming space. So Black Girl Gamers came up this whole with this whole idea to protect women even while they do the things that they love, even while they game, even while they stream, and all of that stuff. Yeah, so next up we got She Got Game. She Got Game is a very community rooted initiative. So it creates pathways for young people to get into the industry, young girls to get into the industry, to tournaments, jams, workshops, all that kind of stuff, mentorship programs and networking events as well. All of this is to create a space, make it more inclusive. Basically say that the games industry has the arms open wide. Who's interested? Come in. Come in. It's a safe space. You can let your creative juices flow and build what you want to build. Next up, we have Africa Comic Drum rolls, please. This event is curated in collaboration with Africa Comic which is a Pan African creative organization that is has so many initiatives across community, across training programs, across industry events, and all of these is targeted toward creating a launchpad for every stakeholder in this industry to grow and thrive as well. So there's mentorship, there's trainings, there's events, there's partnerships, there's projects, there's so much going on. All of that to build for everyone and anyone who wants to grow in the industry. So yeah, if you haven't already, nominate someone, nominate an organization, nominate a woman, nominate someone who's doing amazing in the industry. Tag them in the comments, write their names, put their ads, their links, and all of that, so everybody gets to check them out and see what they're building. So yeah, what is next? What is next? I mean, I talked about what the industry is looking like. What happens now that I know all these amazing women, now that I know all of these organizations that could support me, what happens next? So yeah, the next decade is looking amazing. There's so many more communities, there's so many more organizations, there's so many more tools that are supporting women, that are supporting indie devs, that are supporting younger creatives. So this is like the best time to grow and thrive as a creator within the ecosystem if you want. And you know that Africa as well stands at a unique standpoint with when it comes with talent, when it comes with our community, when it comes to our population as well. Africa is at an advantage. So if you want to get into the industry, this is the best time. How do you get involved? Obviously, join community. Obviously, we're gonna be talking about that a little bit more when we get into the panels. But it's important that you join communities that are going to spur you, support you, build you up. You could get mentorship. if you have experience, offer mentorship as well to younger women and girls so that they can grow and thrive. You can support women-led studios. There are lots of studios, indie game studios who are that are led by women. So support them, build with them, share opportunities with them, share opportunities with younger girls and women as well who are trying to get into this space. What is it? The trainings, the jams, the mentorship. Do well to share them with these younger girls so that they can thrive. Advocate for a safe ecosystem. Everybody, all of us, we all have a role in the industry to grow together. Round of applause, please. I've come to the end of this super long presentation. Yes. Yeah, so like I mentioned, we are going to be sharing this to everyone. It's going to be available in your it's going to be available in your DMs, in your email. It's going to be sent directly to you right after this presentation. So you have the opportunity to go over it again, check out the links, check out the women, and all of that to build yourself and get inspired. So, I mean, that has been great. That has been great. I hope that I know it was a super long presentation, but I hope that you did glean from it and that you're open to learning from all the women here as well. And I would really love to introduce Valencia Coleman. Round of applause. Round of applause. I'm not sure if I did mention her in my in my presentation. Hi,
Hi,
Valencia. Hi.
can you hear me pretty
It's,
well?
I can hear you very clearly. It's super amazing to finally meet you. I mean, Valencia is one of the amazing women doing great stuff for the ecosystem, across the world. And she is a Women in Games ambassador herself. Round of applause. So, yeah, I do want you. I'm happy that you came on board. I'm happy that you're
Yes.
here. And I do want you to speak a bit, to younger girls, younger gamers, younger creatives, younger game devs, everybody who's here, and kind of speak a bit about, your experience starting up. I know that the ecosystem, in the West is a little bit different, but I know that you got so much support from the Women in Games team. You got support from jams and communities like this. That is really what would love for you to share with us.
Of course, I would love to. So, just a quick introduction for myself. I'm Valencia Coleman. I am a Women in Games ambassador. So, I work with the Women in Games, do several events. I also, my day job, I work at Alchemy Labs as a gameplay engineer. So, I work in engineering field, and I love doing that. I've been got my bachelor's in computer science, got my master's in game design. Um, and outside of that, I'm also a game dev professor. So I work in the video game industry as a professor. So yeah, that's um. So yes, I work at the University of Alabama. So I help with young people get into the game industry all the time. So when I'm not doing my day job at Alchemy Labs, and before I got my job, I was an indie game developer, just like many of you are. So I still am doing my indie game development. And yeah, that's a bit about me. Do you have any like questions or anything in particular?
For sure, for sure. I did forget to mention she is a professor of game design at the University of Alabama, which is amazing. I mean that I love I love that the industry has, grown so much that we have entire departments and faculties teaching game engineering, game development, game design, all this amazing stuff. Is really cool to see. I did listen to an interview that you did sometime earlier, and you did speak about, your entry into the industry, how you started out, building stuff, all of that, attending jams. Do you want to throw some light on that for someone who's younger, trying to get into the
Of
industry and break
course.
in? Is that the pathway? Please share.
Of course. So I'll give it my backstory because I always love telling it. The way I got into industry. I was literally a little girl, and my dad really loved video games. So when I told him I wanted to make video games for a living, he's like, "Oh my god, yes!" So I did have the support of my father that helped me get into the industry. And so I was like 18, about to graduate. Got to graduate high school, and I was like, I want to be in the game industry. But I lived in a very small part of Alabama. So there's not a huge game industry scene in Alabama, United States. So I was all like, okay, how do I get in? And they told me go get a master, get a degree, get a bachelor's in computer science. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll go learn about computer science. So I went and got my bachelor's degree in computer science. And then I was like, okay, I want to be in games. And they're like, okay, it's hard to get into games when you like live in a small town and you're not in California or anything like that. And I was like, okay, so how do I get into games? So I realized I wasn't just jump straight into a studio. That's almost no one I've known has jumped straight into a studio. A lot of them might make their own games. I did a lot of game jams. I went to this great website called itch.io where they have a list of different game jams you can do, like a whole entire list of them. And so I just started knocking out those little game jams, meeting new people. I got connected with the IGJ Foundation when I was just looking through organizations to join. I ended up applying for them, became a scholar. And while I was doing all that, I still was all like, I'm not sure I'm actually going to get into the game industry as a studio. So I went and got my master's in game design so I can at least teach it. It's like, if I can't be a studio, I at least want to teach it. So I was still doing game jams. I was in the process of teaching game design. I was helping with local communities with game design. I was making my own games on the side. And eventually, when I started applying for studios again, Alchemy Labs saw like, you have 7 games at Itch.io. Like, so he's like, you already had games already made already on your Itch.io. I was like, yeah, that's what I do on the side. And I was working a full-time IT job too. So I was like, it'll be great if I get into this industry. It'll be fine if I don't, because I found a way to still make an impact in the industry without working for a studio, which I think is important for everyone to know. You can make an impact in the industry without working for a studio. You can create your own studio. You can do so many things in this industry that doesn't involve you working for a big company. And so they got my interview. It was a long process, but I got interviewed, and then I started work as an engineer for Alchemy Labs. One piece of advice I always give young people, that's pretty silly, but when you're starting out for your first game, your first few games, they're not going to be good. They're not going to be great, but you need to put them out there. A lot of my games on Itch.io, I mean, now they're pretty good, but the before ones that are still on there, terrible, awful. I want to go back and clean them up. But that's the point. The point is that you can do something, you can show your work. The reason I got hired as an engineer, because they literally can play my games. They could just go on the internet and just play it right then and there. And that's what makes you stand out to a lot of other people when you're looking for a when you're looking for get jobs in the game industry, or when you're looking for different things in this. When you're looking for starting on a studio, people want to know what your work is. So building a portfolio is very, very important.
That is really good advice. I mean, build a portfolio wherever you are. You can say, okay, I've got this proof of concept. There's something to show. And please do not go back to clean up your itch.io. We want to check it out and see the before and after. So when we're creating, so when we're starting off having projects, it feels like, okay, I mean, this happens to the best of us, so nothing to worry about. Yeah, but that is amazing. I mean, you had something already, and that was something that spurred you. I think you had proof of concept, so you didn't just come in as well. But I do want you to share as well. I mean, I did see that you did manage the alumni for
Yes,
um, the IGDA, right?
absolutely.
How did you get into that? How, oh, you still do amazing. How did you get into that? I mean, these are huge organizations that we see from afar. I don't think they even open up these opportunities. Like nobody sees when these roads are opened. But how did that happen? Basically, walk us through.
Well, the benefit now, all you guys are connected to me. So we do open our applications for the IGJ Foundation in like March around GDC time. So the Game Developer Conference, the big thing that happens in San Francisco, that's when we open applications for it. And how I got involved in it, it's very funny. So basically, it was during 2020, during the pandemic, and I was just scrolling through social media and said, IGJ Foundation, apply now. I was like, why not? And so it's a random site, and I applied, and that's how I got in. But how did I become an alumni coordinator is a whole different thing. I applied, gave become a scholar, and I realized the IGA Foundation, I wasn't much beyond the program itself. I had an amazing mentor. A mentor who was working at Google at the time, so now I work for studios owned by Google. Networking, guys, it works. And I was all like, okay, but I want more because I am someone that believes in giving back. I think when the community helped you, you should go back and help the community. And I was like, okay, I want more than just this program. This program's amazing. This program's great, but it's not. It's just a 6-month program. So I worked with some of my other about people in my foundation. I was like, let's do like a whole alumni thing. Like, let's do events, let's host events that people can still learn after they already got finished with the IGA Foundation program. And so, kind of, the alumni program kind of started with me and my partner in the foundation, Mito. So, an amazing, amazing person. And he and I kind of started the alumni team. And this is before we got jobs in industry, and it gotten so much bigger now. We have a whole team now. We're not like we have a whole new leader, Kenna, who helps with so many of the events now. It's so great. And basically, I got started by just wanting to make a change, wanting to make an impact. And I just reached out, be like, how can I make an impact? I made all these beautiful connections. Maybe we can do some events. Maybe we can do something. Maybe we can do some networking. Maybe we can do a game jam together. So the alumni team is huge now. But back when it first started, it just started with me and Mito saying we want to make a change. We want to do something and putting the time and effort back to make it.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think I mean, one final thing before you head off. I know that we did get sometimes this. You saw a problem and you saw how to solve it. You
Mm-hmm.
saw a problem and then you figured out how to solve it and you got someone on board. What do you think? I mean, you work in academia and you work in industry as well, right at the heart of the industry, the IGDA, right? So,
Yeah.
in from these strategic points, where do you think that young Black women can plug in into the industry, especially if they're looking for opportunities that can, get them started, get them growing? What opportunities do you think they should be on the lookout for to grow?
Well, definitely attend events like this. I had the benefit of the IGJ Foundation, but not only IGJ Foundation. I was part of Women in Games. I was a Women in Game ambassador. Talk to your local communities. Find out if there's a local game dev scene near you. I am in Huntsville, Alabama. There's not a huge game dev scene. I actually left Atlanta, Georgia, to go to Huntsville, Alabama, to help create that game dev scene, to help kind of build it up some more. That's why I actually left the big city to help build it up, because I don't want anyone to feel they have to leave just to do what they want to do for their dreams. And the biggest thing I give advice is networking, networking, networking. There's a color expo that happens every year. There's a huge networking event. There's the cookout that happens every year, another Black networking event. Join the Black in Gaming Discord. Join the Black in Gaming Foundation. There's a lot of everything you do is based on networking. There is no coincidence at all that there was like people who was interviewing me in my job already knew who I was based on the events I was helping with. And even when you're not in the game industry and you're just making games, you're not owning a studio or you're not running a studio, you can still help. There, you have some skill. For me, it was programming and narrative design. For you, it might be UX or art, or it might be animation. You have some skill that you can teach someone. You are Once you feel like you are good enough at a skill that you can teach it to someone, then you have something to give to the community, even when you're not at the level of working at a studio. That's how I got my opportunities. I was teaching, I was talking about narrative, I was doing my master's, I was talking about what I've learned, and that all that happened before I got a job in industry, before I officially got professional. So I think attending events like these, being part of a community, and not just join the community and being silent on Discord. Join the community and talking to people in the community. I know that's the scary part. You gotta join, you gotta do the events. Black and Gaming has like a chat and chill. And before I got in the industry, I used to be pretty active in that. I'm still pretty active in Black and Gaming. I help with the Black and Gaming Awards at GDC. Um, so being active in the community, not just joining and be like, okay, I'm here now. Talking to people, reach out to me. Faith has my LinkedIn. You guys are all fully free to message me and connect with me on LinkedIn. I have no problem with that. And talk. Feel free to talk to me and network with other people, because that's how you're going to get in the industry. It is somewhat who you know. So give back to your community. You have some skill you can share with other people. You have something. Join game jams. Be a part active of the community. And first, once you do all that, that will take a lot of time of your day. And next thing you know, someone from some studio, or you'll meet enough people to start your own, will notice you. It might take time. It may not be immediate. Um, but it will get there eventually.
It might take time. That is important.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might take time, like you
Yeah,
said, but
I was
eventually,
doing that
I
for
mean,
three
it's all
years
going to
before I
work
got.
itself
I'm
out.
sorry. I was working IT
Wow.
for three
Wow.
years, and I did not have a job in industry for like recent, like 2 years ago. About 2 years ago, that's when I officially got my job in industry. But I've been doing stuff in industry way before 2 years. So in my mind, I think if you're being active in the community, you're part of the industry. Not if you have the nice paying job and got all this. It's nice to have. It is great to have. But being active is what makes you part of the industry.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much, Valencia. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. This has been amazing. Hearing from you, your real story and how you got to plug in. You saw a problem, found a way to solve it. You went right in, nothing holding you back. That is very inspiring. That is very inspiring. And we love to hear stories like this. Thank you so much for being here. Obviously, everyone connected, you can, connect with Valencia, get to see her story, be inspired. She's doing amazing stuff. I mean, a game design professor. I didn't even know there were game design professors. I started doing some digging into the industry. I was like, wow, amazing stuff. So yeah, thank you so much for being here with us today. This has been really amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you, Valencia. It's
Thank
awesome having
you.
you.
It's good
And
having
yeah,
you.
yeah. So yeah, I mean that was amazing. Like she said, connects, collaborates, super important. Very important to meet up with other people. It's gonna take a while because, like we all know, this is a new industry. It is budding, so it's gonna take a while. But do make sure to connect with people across board. Like I mentioned before we started, drop your name, drop where you're connecting from and what you do in the comments, so everybody gets to know who you are and you get to connect with other like minds and build together. So yeah, right next off, we do have an amazing panel with some amazing girls. We have Wendy Ndaki. I did mention in the spotlight. We have Joanna Oluch. We have Sophia, amazing fire women doing amazing things. And then, of course, we have lovely Hasbi here as well, who's going to be moderating this panel. So that is going to start in just a second. So while they're getting up and while we're setting that up, do well to share, your name, where you're connecting from, and what you do in the ecosystem as well. Make sure to connect with every other person.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Asby, and I'm thrilled. I'm being very honest. I'm like amazed by the set of people she introduced earlier, and we're just moving on to another panel session that would have this set of amazing people who come on stage and share their story with us. So we're thrilled to have these incredible women with us today to share their journeys, insights, and advice for anyone interested in games, XR animations, or immersive media. So we have Joanna, we have Wendy, and we have Sophia. So yeah, welcome Wendy, welcome Joanna, and welcome Sophia. This is
I
actually your chance. Yeah, I welcome. So this is your chance to hear their first-hand story about what it takes to thrive in this industry, and I would be asking some set of questions for them about their career, tools, challenges, and the future of this career. So we're going to get started. Yeah, so Joanna first. So Faith has done their introduction, so I'm just going to give a brief introduction about who they are and what they do. So Joanna is a game designer, a digital artist, and a software developer from Kenya with a background in mechatronics engineering, who leverages a diverse experience to match technology, arts, and storytelling. Inspired by a childhood spent in Olulua forests, Joanna created Argo, as Faith has stated earlier, an augmented reality guide, Ololua, a first original game to foster a symbiotic relationship between visitors and nature. So let's jam it up for Joanna. So we have Wendy. Hi. So Wendy is a tech writer, a visual artist, a community storyteller who works at the intersection of video games, culture, and digital media. Known for her ability to translate complex tech topics into engaging narratives, she advocates for African creators and spotlights the growing economy ecosystem of game development on the continent. So she's also a Safe in Our World ambassador, advocating for safer space in the industry. And lastly, we have Sophia. She's a front-end engineer and passionate game enthusiast who is expanding women's visibility in tech and gaming. She's the founder of the Females in Gaming Network, a community built to support, mentor, and connect women across the gaming industry. Sophia creates safe learning spaces and opens pathway for women to enter and thrive in the tech industry. It's actually amazing. We have women that are passionate about women thriving in the tech space, because most times when you see it, you see males are just so much concentrated in the tech space. But when we see females thriving in this industry, it inspires me. I get inspired to do what they do, achieve what they've achieved, and be like them. So we're going to move on to Jana. So I'm going to ask the question in turns. So Jana, what was your first step into the games or immersion media industry, and what would you do differently if you were to start your career today?
So my first, you can hear me?
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
okay. I was worried about the microphone for a second, but hi everybody. So my first introduction to like the gaming scene, maybe I'll say like the professional one, because I grew up like playing video games on like the Nintendo Wii and like small Game Boys and bootleg devices. But my first introduction to like the professional scene was back in 2022, I think, where I was part of Malio Games' boot camp. And then from there, I got like a job was offered to me by a mentor. And that really opened up like my horizons for like games and things like that. So she saw that I liked making cute games. And that was the moment where I decided like, I'm gonna stop trying to pretend to be cool and like a developer and all serious and everything. And I'm just gonna make something that's really cute and adorable, and whether or not people like it, I'm still gonna enjoy it. And she happened to see that cute game and just be like, "You like making cute games, I like making cute games. Please come and work with me." And that was what gave me the opportunity, just like being myself. And I think what I would do differently, let me think, because there's a lot of stuff that I can think of right now. But I would say the one thing I would take chances, which I wouldn't be sure how they would turn out, because I think like early on I really hesitated applying for things and like speaking out and like just talking about my experience because I felt like I didn't know enough. So I was like, I shouldn't be talking about this, or I won't know enough to talk about this. But I think I would take more chances, because the chances that I've taken have led me to here. And even the ones which have failed, or like failed in quotes, have still led me to here. And taking chances allowed me to like meet all these wonderful people, who also the people who are here today. And I think like that's a very, it was a good idea to just like take chances, and I would do that again, and I would take more than I did. Yeah. So that's what I'll do
Oh,
differently.
yeah, that's really nice. That's, yeah, add Okay. Yeah, she said she's going to take more chances. So as you're listening to her, you should know that there's no chance you take that it's not worth it. It's always worth it. So take those chances, do those things you think you can do, meet those people you think you can meet, and you'd be like her one day. So um building on that, many people think you must be a coder to be who you are or do what you do. Still on genre. So a lot of people think you must be a developer to actually be there to be a game developer and do all sorts of things. So for women trying to break into this space without a technical background, what entry points or roles do you think are most accessible to them?
Is the question
Sorry, can
directed
you
to
repeat the
me or
question?
Sophia?
It's still for Joanna, sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought
Okay.
it was Sophia. So there are so many more, like when people say game development, they tend to think of coding, but there's so many different routes you can take. If you can hear a dog in the background, I'm so sorry. That is my son. He is a nuisance. But there are so many different parts. Like Wendy is a game journalist, and like she's carved out this amazing niche for herself just simply by doing what she loves, which is writing. And it's such an amazing like career to see and also to experience from the outside. So far, I came from like software development, but she does like a lot of marketing as well, and she does it like ridiculously well. So and then Faith also manages like events and the Africa Comic Aid side, especially for like women in games. So there are many different routes. And I'm not even like a coder in my day to day. I'm more of a game designer, which means I like detail like the worlds that we're supposed to build, the characters, the story, and how the levels and mechanics work. And then I give it to the game developer, the person who programs, and they have to like tell me what works and doesn't work, and then build it at the end of the day. And game development as a whole, making games is so big. You can be in music, you can be in user experience, you can be in user interface, you can be in production, and there are different kinds of production. You can be in marketing, you can be in sales, you can be like just somebody who does administrative stuff. So you can even just do like social media, specializing specifically in social media for games. So there are so many opportunities out there for people to take, and it doesn't necessarily have to just be that you code and you program. That is like such a huge myth that a lot of women tell themselves, like, I have to be a programmer and I have to be good. Trust you me, you don't have to be. First of all, if you want to do the code, you don't have to be super good. There are other routes that you can take where there are like no code languages, like in Unity with Visual Scripting and even Unreal Engine, and even like stuff like Game Maker and Scratch. So if you want to do code, there are options to like even like be not so technical. And if you don't want to do code or you can't do code, that's completely okay. There's still so many other ways that you can participate in like the game ecosystem. There's even like esports. If you're very good at games and like competing with people and you beat guys and you're just like the coolest gamer in your area, you can definitely participate in esports and even like get to an international level. And I'm remembering one more, but I can't remember. But there are so many different routes. You're not just limited to coding. And if you want to do coding, there are easier routes than like having to be like a hard coder and like knowing all the formulas and everything. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you don't have to be a developer to actually thrive in this space. So
Yeah.
so Wendy, regarding this whole development, design, and every other aspect of game development, I'm just going to go to the how to aspects. So majorly as students, we probably have access to limited resources. So if someone only has access to free or low cost learning resources, where can one begin in this space? Yeah.
All right, thank you for that question. Yeah, there are many places you can find access to information. Lots of people swear by YouTube as a university, because most of us are self-taught. As Joanna mentioned, I don't know. I find it hard to call myself a journalist. I prefer calling myself a writer and a content creator. But yeah, I had to learn how to do this. In campus, I did IT, and we had a bit of communication classes, like two, I believe. And that's why I was able to refine my writing a bit. But then from then on, I also had to upskill. So I had to look for courses online. You can go to Udemy, you can go to Coursera. Of course, there's YouTube, as I mentioned. And then there are lots of trainings also happening. I know Africa Communicate offers lots of trainings. Even for people within the fashion industry who are interested in immersive media, using immersive media for their work. Yeah, so I believe one of the reasons why I'm even in this industry is because of these trainings, not necessarily online, but also community ones. Because I got to train with Goethe Institute through a project called Enter Africa, where we were learning how to gamify stuff, which is simply the process of making using the games, I mean, the elements that make games fun in non-game environments. So through Goethe Institute, that training, which took 2 whole years, I was able to go to also travel to Ethiopia and to Germany and see all those ecosystems and how they're working. So I focus, find ways to plug into community events. So through Africa Communicate, I know Goethe Alliance also has, of the French Institute has lots of these programs. Yeah, so those would be ideal places I'd recommend for people to see how they can plug in and learn. Yes.
To that, I think we have some. Hi, Hasbi. Yeah, I think we're having some difficulties here.
I can hear you.
Once we can. You can hear me, yeah?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can hear you.
Awesome. I
Yes.
think I want to ask this question to Sophia because I mean, you're the founder and CEO of Females in Gaming Network, where you have this community of brilliant ladies and all. I do want you to talk more about the power of community a bit because no one can grow in isolation. I think that even while we've gone through points like being bold, being self-taught, using YouTube, but is that sufficient? How important, if at all, is community, and how can we incorporate this into building as entry-level devs and all?
Okay. Thank you very much, Faith. It's awesome to see all my girlies again. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Joanna. Hi, Faith. All my roommates. It's nice to see you again. Um, when you talk about community, so for me, it's super, super important, and that's why I started like FIGN. And I remember having the conversation with Wendy, Melly, Joanna, and Faith, and just telling them how amazing it was that five of us were in a room and we could also talk about a lot of things that were happening in the gaming world, which is something that's important, Where you have more people having these conversations together, it helps to boost their growth and it helps to also boost their confidence in what they're doing. And I really agree with Joanna saying not every woman should code. I tell them a lot, you don't need to code because you feel like that's the most important thing that's in the gaming industry. It's not important to code. But you also need a community to learn that there are other things aside coding. Let's be honest, a lot of women think that when you talk about video games, you're talking about playing and then you're talking about just coding. They don't know that there are musical artists. They don't know that there's an audio side of things. They don't know that there are artists, you know. But when you come into a community and then you see women from various backgrounds, diverse backgrounds, you're able to understand that, oh, there's something else I can do that's better suited to my passion than what I thought it was, Because another thing is, sorry to say, but a lot of us in our generation, even though we have Chat GPT, we don't do good research. I mean, I remember when we were sending out emails for our events, and Wendy sent something for email headers. I didn't even know that existed. Like maybe I knew it existed, but I didn't know that you could really do that on the internet. I learned it in school, and Wendy gave me a great resource. Those are the kind of things you get in community where people can say, "Hey, I have this resource, I have that resource that can help you get better quicker." You know,
But if you're on your own, it gets harder to even know that these things even exist. And while it's true that we have GPTs that can now help us make our lives easier. It's always different when, like, let's say 100 people are doing something, and you can leverage on what the 100 have done already to you just trying to research it on your own. So those are the ways that communities can, help and be involved. And when you also talk about like stress, I think I can't remember if it was Joanna. No, no, it was Faith. During the opening, I was talking about like abuse that people have been facing, in this space. Having a community is great because people can now have those discussions. We're no longer in isolation. Last week Friday, we're talking about the safety week, for gender-based violence for girls in digital and in video games. And it was important to have women talk about their experiences or how they felt being abused, and not just from the guys, from their fellow women and their fellow girls, and how we can curb it. So those are important things you can also talk about in the community, which makes like communities important, for everybody.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sophia. Thank you very much. That was amazing. We get to know that you can talk about anything that is happening to you in your community, and just be together with people with like minds, basically, where you can communicate, share ideas, share opinions, and many more. Thank you very much. Now on to Wendy. So once they've started learning, you know
Okay, we've lost her again.
But I think what she, I'm not in her head, but I believe that, but I believe that where she was going was, once
Yes,
we have all of these trainings, once we're done with all the trainings and, learning on YouTube, what next? What happens next? You're done. You've gone to the YouTube University. You've studied. What do you do next? Okay, you have a community of girls you're talking with. What happens next? How do you set yourself up for success in the industry?
all right. I guess I'll just use my example. So my entry point, as I mentioned earlier, was through Enter Africa project by Goethe
wait, the question
Institute.
you're asking, the other person, does she
Yes.
have access to it?
Sorry, someone is speaking. Okay. All right. So it was through the project called Enter Africa, and through that project, we used to have lots of industry stakeholders because I was a newbie, completely new. I was actually in animation. I was just from an internship through my mentor, who runs an animation studio. And she's the one who told me to try the Goethe Institute project because she was aware that I was very interested in games. So I went, did the project, and during the project, we used to have lots of industry stakeholders coming to meet us and talk about what's happening in the industry, and then we'd figure out ways we could plug in. So during one of those sessions, I met a guy called Douglas Ogeto, and we were actually at the Gamerthon together. He is a person who is one of the reasons why I'm in the industry, because after those sessions I went, pitched to him. Yeah. Thank you. I pitched to him because I was doing a lot of writing on my own personal blog, and I wanted to document what's happening in the video games industry because I realized it's a very big gap, and I couldn't find enough resources online about what was happening within the country and also across the continent. So yeah, I pitched it to him, and he used to hold community events. Again, as Sophia said, very important. So during those community events or after, I'd document what happened and write articles about that, and just yeah, continue spreading the word around what we're doing as an industry. So after that, I was able to connect with some more people. I remember Vic Basie games industry Africa reached out and wanted me to write for him after that. So it just opened up like that. So in short, I feel like the next step once you've received all this the resources is also continue plugging into community and networking as well, and find ways you can bridge a gap. If you see there's a problem somewhere, try and bridge it. There are many entry points. You can come it as a content creator, as a person. If you're very good at social media marketing, we need a lot of marketing in the space. You can plug in as that. So find ways you can pitch your skill set to people who are within the industry by attending industry events. And yeah, I believe that will be one way you can easily make it sustainable, because you can continue learning forever, but you need to find a footing. You need to plug into something where you start giving value and also receiving value monetarily, so that it's sustainable. Yeah, so that's one of the ways I'd recommend.
Thank you so much, Wendy. And I think I wanna follow through with what you just mentioned, and kind of dig into that a little bit, because it's easier said than done when you mention community and networking and putting yourself out there. It's they're very easy words to say, but in application and to implement can be kind of burdensome, especially when you consider personality types that are a little bit more withdrawn. So, what are the soft launch ways that you think individuals like that can still plug in without doing too much? Should I say, if that makes sense? So, how can you plug in? How do you still put yourself out there without putting on a very terrible looking facade?
Oh wow, that's a good question. And yeah, I feel like I need a bit more time to answer it properly. But from the top of my mind, um, to be honest, for community, there's a feeling you get to know which community to plug in, because we have lots of creative communities, but then there's now the creative tech community where we are. So I feel at home in the creative tech community, because I'm a techie. I did IT, and then I'm also a creative. I'm an artist. So I feel like one of the reasons that will or rather one ways that will make it easier for you is to look at where you feel like you're at home. So there are creative communities also in theater, creative communities in fashion. I do know Africa Communicate finds ways to get lots of creatives together, and I feel like they have their own small communities, and then they come and plug into ours. So I feel one of the ways to help with that first is to find where you feel at home, and that is for you to go around to different communities and test. And then from there, I think we had a session in Nairobi through the Goethe Institute's project Games Connect, and Evans Kiragu was taking us through how to pitch, or rather how to do elevator pitches. And he tried to help us see how to approach people. At times, you don't even need to approach the biggest person in the room, because at times, someone as simple as maybe an assistant who works with him, who is very close and who's has what's the word, has influence. Yes, they can make them do something. Yeah, and they could be easily accessible and don't have that many people trying to talk to them, because when you go to events you will notice that there are people who everyone wants to talk to, and then there are those who are just hanging around, just chilling, and those are probably those who have access to this other person who's very busy talking to everyone. So that's a strategy you can use. It's very simple. You just go talk to them, build a rapport, and then they would be the person who would be championing you to this other person, and you don't have to force it. Because I am an introvert, so I know how it feels to just go go hard, and you're feeling uncomfortable and shy and all those feelings you have. So yeah, try and reach out to the most easily accessible person, and find ways to connect to probably the one who you really wanted to talk to. Yeah, and they'll help you with that process if it's something you want to pitch for a job or an opportunity where you can exchange value. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you. That is really insightful because you want to stretch, but you don't want to stretch too far. So you kind of have to start with what's a little comfortable for you, and then keep going, keep networking, keep meeting people,
Yeah.
stretching out a little bit till you get around. So yeah, thank you. I mean,
Yeah.
it's something everyone has to do. I mean, as people upon this planet, you must interact with other people upon this planet. There's nothing you can do to get away from that. But
Yeah, it's very
yeah,
important.
yeah, thank God you said that, Sophia, because I have a question for you. You have this
Me?
community, yeah, you have this community of young girls who are in the space, who are coming into the industry, growing, thriving, all of that. What would you say is one of the major issues they face? Because I mean, we do not want to be bigots, and we do not want to be just randomly generalize. What do you think are the issues peculiar to your community of younger girls coming into the industry as well?
So first off, it's not just younger girls. FIGN has like we have moms on that group. We have moms. we have we have older people. So I think one of the important things for us at FIGN is being very inclusive, and that's why it's FIGN and it's an umbrella because a lot of the time when we talk about gaming, we talk about the younger generation, and we talk about people like us, you know. But what happens to like people that are older, you know, moms, people who have like 10-year-old daughters, you know, who want to be in this space but they don't know how to be in this space. So that's what FIG is catering to. I know face is like I'm shooting about yeah, that's
Thank
just
you
like
for calling out my bias. Thank you for calling out my bias. Thank you very much. Please go
yeah,
on.
but that's a clarification because I mean I'm a mom now, you guys know. So it's very important to like involve them. One of the things which is one of the reasons why I was at FIGN is to push the newer generation, right? So as a mom, I know how important it is to play games. I love playing games. There's no way, except she doesn't want to. There's no way I'll have a daughter tomorrow and she wants to play a game and I say no to her. You know, except she's doing it like too much, you know. Too much of everything is bad. But it starts with me and you. When the older generation know how important it is to play games. I've had conversations with people from Uganda, Zambia, Kenya, and it looks like we all live in the same house. Do you understand? It's funny because when we have these conversations, I'm not even talking about Joanna because I was talking with Joanna and Wendy, but I'm talking about people like Bambina, that's a big name in the esports industry in Kenya, you know, and we all have the same agreement that it's difficult as a girl, as a woman, playing games in the African industry or building games because our male counterparts, and it's not fault of theirs, right? Our parents do not even see the importance of video games or video gaming. Do you understand? So it's a difficult field to enter. Firstly, you have to convince people that what you're doing is important. Secondly, you don't even have the resources. A lot of the times, I know when we are given the four of us, we were talking about how many people have switches, how many people have PS5s who are girls, you know, and you can sometimes you can even count on your hand how many people you know who are girls that have these resources. So those are important conversations when our parents want to, like for the younger generation now. This answering first question. When our parents want to buy, say for example, they want to get a gadget in the house. Who's their first priority? If you have a brother that's even younger than you, they would rather buy a laptop for that brother. They'll rather buy the PS5 for your brother and your father. They are not buying it for the girl. Nobody. It's very. I mean, it's coming up now, but very rarely do parents actually say, "Oh, it's your birthday. Let me get you a PS5. It's your birthday. Let me get you a Switch." Thank God for the Switch because now it even feels like the Switch is a girly thing. Thank God for the Switch, but it's very very rare to see parents buying PS5s, but they buy it for their sons all the time. You know, I mean, even girlies like us, a lot of girls would buy the PS5, not for themselves, for their boyfriends, for their husbands, you know? So those are the things. That's for the people that even have access to the resources. So we have to talk about access to resources, which is something that a lot of people do not have. the ability to get, you know. So when you're getting into the space, I mean, Joanna will tell you that, I mean, and that's why I love Argo. That you don't need a like very large device to, you know, operate Argo, but you need a great device to make Argo. Do you understand? You need a PC that's crazy and running on steroids to make something like Argo. So those are the conversations we have to have. If it's like in Nigeria, you are looking like 1 million plus to get a gaming PC. Do you understand? So you have to look at resources. So those are the things that we're struggling with as a community, and we hope that more people, you know, are able to help us get more accessibility to these resources. And then also, very importantly, the mindset shift where a lot of African homes do not believe in the girl's ability to play games or even make games. So yeah.
Yeah, those are super salient issues. And yeah, I think when I speak, thank you so much, Sophia. Thank you so much. I think these are conversations that light is being shed on even some more. I think Hasbi has some questions as well for you guys.
Yeah. Okay. So I love what you said, but still on Sophia. So knowing that these barriers exist, so they exist in the real sense. So what practical steps can studios and communities take to make sure that the industry is safer and more inclusive for women and girls?
Okay, so this is I like to say the tricky question because a lot of the time I don't know if when they join the call early during our lunch, a lot of the time guys will say there are no barriers. They'll say everybody's included, you know. um I feel like some of the ways we can do it is to do better quota sharing. So for example, if 10 of us have to be in the US next year, I mean maybe let's say it can be equal now because we don't have a lot of people, but at least it should be 4 girls and 6 guys, you know. It should always be on the back of our minds, and that's why we still need guys as allies, you know. We need more inclusion, we need more involvement. We can't say we want girls to be involved and we're going for like big events and they are not exposed to it. For like studios that have like access to the gaming PCs and gaming laptops, if somebody says they want to do an internship, while you're prioritizing a boy, you should also prioritize the girl who is interested to learn, you know. Those are the things that are very important because a lot of the time we are only prioritizing like one gender because we feel they'll be more serious with it, and you know, so we need to prioritize more. And this is where boys come in as allies, you know, men come in as allies. We need to prioritize the girls more. If we're going to attend, let's say for example, next year we're going for GDC, right? How many of my girls are going for GDC? But next year we're going for GDC, right? If if the IGDA Foundation is sponsoring 10 people in the African community, at least 4 of us should be girls. I don't know who they are going to choose, how they are going to randomly choose it, but there should be 4 girls who can go have that experience and come back to tell more girls and encourage them. Do you understand? Because you can't say definitely that you just and that's why Faith was asking about how more people breaking, because it's not just about talking. We're always talking, you know. How do people get access? How do people start making money? But it also comes with being exposed to things, you know. We can't stay at home and you're coming back to tell us, hey, we had a nice time at maybe Africa Games Week or GDC. We need more participation. So for the girls that are already like involved, for guys that are already way ahead of us, we need you to bring us together. That's something that I love. I tell Oscar is my mentor. He knows it. He knows it. And that's one of the things I love that Oscar is doing, you know, bringing more women and pushing them and saying, hey, break the glass ceilings. And I'm just right behind you to catch you if you even fall, you know. So those are the things that are important. Allyship from the guys and from the studios as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm still coming back to this topic, but let's give it to Joanna. So my question now is, this whole big part of sustainability in funding. So for women building startups, indie studios or probably solo projects. So what funding sources, grants or monetization paths should they pay attention to?
So I will be entirely honest, I'm also learning about how to be sustainable because I think it's very like for a lot of African studios, like they're really trying to become sustainable. The African market doesn't work the way the Western market does, but the Western market has more data on like gamer behavior and like consumer behavior than African markets do. And like and the and that makes it like very difficult for you to like figure out how do I become sustainable. So I can talk on like what I'm trying with Argo, but I will warn you like I am experimenting right now. So feel free to learn from my mistakes and what I do right and what I do wrong. And essentially like of course there's the route of like you actually sell the game. Those are called premium games, so like usually for PC and console, and you get your money back that you invested into it from like people purchasing the games. That's why you'll get games which are being sold at like $60. I know like there's a point where like if you want to buy the whole of Animal Crossing, you have to pay $95 for like the whole package. And that's one route, but like it requires you to have like a really big studio that tends to be like AAA games and the like. But there can also be like indie games which do that, where they sell them at like a lower price, and if you get enough purchases, you're able to make your money back because like your budget was small to begin with. And I see a lot of indie games doing that, like stuff like Balatro. I don't think it was like more than like $20 or something, and he just made it because he wanted to play a weird version of poker with his friends, and then it blew up and it became famous, and I'm pretty sure he made his money back. So that's like a success, and it's a route you can take. There is the route of like now I have forgotten that. Or you can put ads inside your games, ads and in-game purchases and microtransactions, which in all honesty, like players don't necessarily enjoy that, especially if it's very overt and it's like in your face and you're getting like an ad every like 10 seconds or something like that, or to like progress to a level. But it is a way to make money. And because like the game market in Africa is heavily mobile, like the ways of Sophia was talking about how like you will find like it's very difficult for girls and women especially to own consoles, but generally it's a huge issue across Africa where like purchasing a console or a gaming PC is very expensive and very difficult. You have to ship things from like abroad, and you have to know who you're shipping from, and you have to know how to build the parts and like put it together and maintain the PC and everything. So it's a whole lot of it's like a whole mess. But like the penetration of mobile usage in Africa is big. It's like I think it's bigger than the West, where like even if you don't own a phone, you have access to a phone one way or another through a parent or a sibling or like somebody somewhere nearby who will lend you the phone. And that's how like a lot of people consume games. And that's why like for mobile games, you will see like the mobile game market is very huge, and it tends to use like people use ads. Now, like the funding route is another route, and that is the route that I have used personally. And it came from like the way that I ended up in this place was I applied for a workshop. I did not have the 3 years of experience. I had 6 months of experience, and I was building in my bedroom, as you can see, in my pajamas. And I still got picked because I took that chance. And from there, I was able to like now get into that. I was in that ecosystem, which allowed me to apply for the funding that they were offering. If I hadn't gotten that workshop, I wouldn't have been able to apply for the funding. And applying for the fast funding, a thing which I have constantly had repeated is that once you get the fast funding, it gets easier for you to get the next funding, especially if you do well with like the fast funding that you're given. If you have something to show at the end of the day, if you have like a product that people can actually use, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be like done and playable and usable. And you have to have like at least achieved some of the parts, some of the things that you set out to achieve. Then you can present that and say, hey, I've gotten this far with the fast funding that I've gotten. I have done well. Can you support me to like continue building the game further or building the project further? And people tend to give you more funding if you've already gotten the fast initial funding. So I think I've gotten like I'll say 3 grants, not all of them for Argo, because one of them enabled me to attend Gameathon in Nigeria, and that was from the Hiva Fund. But just being able to like say like we've completed the AR version of the game, it's not that pretty and there are like some bugs, but we've tested with people are enjoying it, they've given us feedback, and we know exactly what we want to do. We're gonna add music, we're gonna change the UI, we're gonna do all these things, and we're gonna like push it out into the world later. That helped like the next funders to be like, yeah, you guys are serious, we're gonna give you a bit more money to like push it even further. And That is one route, but you have to know that like the grant route is not sustainable. You can't live off of grants forever because like the time period ends, they require you to do it in like short time periods, so it won't be an entire year. The grants that I've gotten are usually like 6 months. Why do I have a feeling Oscar is the one who's controlling those sound effects? But like it's not like
Right?
the full period. Yeah, it's not the full period, and you can't like depend on it for an entire month or like no, sorry, for an entire year. So as we work for like 5 month stints, like the team that I had working on Argo, we work for like 5 months, 6 month stints, and then after that, for the rest of the 6 months, you're doing part-time work, you're like just surviving off of your savings or something like that. So the route that I was like brought into and shown was turning that funding into like an actual business that actually returns money. So if we build Argo, how can we turn Argo into something that like people will actually pay for beyond like giving us a grant? So the way we are going with it is trying to do like events next year where like we bring people into the forest where like you can play Argo but you can also hike. We noticed children and especially their parents really enjoyed that aspect of like you're telling a kid like come to the forest, you're gonna play a video game, but once they're outside they're like nature, I am so happy, I want to go to the waterfall, I want to run around. So the parents really enjoy that aspect, and we're offering them a service and a tool. It also works with like NGOs when they want to do fundraising. They can say like, "Hey, we're hip, we're young, we're cool. We have this augmented reality game, and it's teaching you about all these different things." But at the end of the day, you have to remember like, now this is a segue, and it's more of like my own personal like feelings. A game is structured play, and you should aim for the game to be fun before it's actually teaching somebody something, and before it's a tool. If you make a game that's not fun, it's not going to succeed. People are not going to play it. Nobody will really care about it. And at the end of the day, you won't have any eyes on it. And what you want is eyes. You want it to be a useful tool and a useful, like, you want it to bring some use to people. And fun is a definite use. It's entertainment is a use. So you have to keep that in mind and just know, like, there's so many different parts. There's also publishing, which I haven't talked about because I don't have experience with that. But that's a route you could definitely take. Yeah. And there's also crowdfunding, which is something Ebony Witch, which is an animated film in Kenya, has done, and they've done it so well and so successfully. If you look at that, it's just literally like the fans being like, I love this so much. I am going to like give you money to make this thing. And that is also another route. So there are many different routes. You just have to find the one which works for you. And you also have to be aware of like the detriments and the positives of like the different routes that you choose. But I know there's like the ARC Fellowship and the Spark Fellowship run by Africa Comic Aid that will teach you things like that. You can also like try and learn about business in general off online and other resources. So that is what I know about funding. Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much, Joanna. And you still be taking the last question. So if you could speak directly to every young woman across Africa interested in game development, XR, or animation, what's that one mindset or strategy you want them to carry into the future?
I usually say it as just do it, but I know that's trademarked by Nike. And I also know it's more complicated than just doing it. So I will leave you with like this one quote that it has been stuck in my head and I have it somewhere on my wall. Yes, over here, because I have sticky notes. And it says stop resisting, start existing. And it was said by an actor who's known for Ugly Betty. She's called America Ferrera. And the idea is like the world is gonna be against you regardless of what you do. People are gonna be like, you're a woman, you're too young. For me personally, people think I'm very young and they think I'm very naive because I like being positive. And it's just like radical acceptance of like everything is gonna go wrong and it's fine. At least I'm here. And the world is gonna try and crush you in so many different ways. You're gonna try one thing, it doesn't work out. You're gonna try something, somebody who you trusted is gonna tell you like, no, that's not gonna work out. They put thoughts in your mind of like you're just failing and you're not sure of anything else, and you might get into this spiral of like I can't do anything and I'm not good enough for this and it's never gonna work out, so why bother even trying? But like the idea of like rejecting what the world wants to put on you, the ideas and thoughts that of like who you should be fitting into this box so neatly that it can use you, you should reject that. you should stop like resisting who you are and just like embrace who you are. If you like cute things, like me personally, I've made a whole career of making cute games, and it's working so far. And that was just from just being like, I'm gonna stop trying to be cool and I'm just gonna be myself. I'm gonna be, if I'm weird, it's okay. If I like cute things, it's okay. If you like being serious and like mapping out plans and doing them the way they're supposed to, go ahead. If you like being loosey goosey about stuff and it works for you, go ahead. You just have to embrace who you are on the inside. And I think that even like goes back to the question you asked Wendy of like, how do you like engage with communities and networks without putting on a facade? And it's just being yourself. The people who it's meant for, it will find them. Who it's not meant for, they'll remove themselves eventually. And I think it's a very beautiful thing of like just existing as you are and letting the world show you what it wants from you, and like being like, nah, you know what, I'm gonna do it my way. And I think like for all of us here, for all of us here, that has worked out. And it's one of the things that I find the most beautiful. Like somebody can sit me down and talk to me about what they are passionate about, and I will not understand anything. But the fact that they are passionate and they're being authentically themselves makes me so very happy. And I hope like a lot of women can take that to heart and just stop resisting and start existing as themselves. Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. That's really amazing. So, Sophia, I want to know your I want you to tell the audience to what they need to know and what they need to have, that one mindset or strategy you want them to carry into the future. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Um, because I know we're rounding up, I want to say thank you for this opportunity. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for doing this, Faith. This is awesome. Um, for the girls out there, for the women listening to my voice or listening to our voices, you don't need permission, and that's it. You don't need to fit into a mold. Jonas, I don't even know what I'm talking again. You don't need to fit into a mold. You don't need to know everything. And this last one was the most important thing. You do not need to know everything. Don't think you need to know how to make the game, how to sell the game by yourself, how to you don't need to know everything. Always, that's why you need communities and you need teams, right? It'll be insane for me to start going to do Ago. I mean, I started out this year as a game developer, and it's taking like a whole new trend. I know how many teams I'm currently on. Like Faith said, I'm now more of a marketer, and Wendy, I'm now more of a marketer. So you have to find your niche. You don't have to do everything, and you don't need to know everything. You have to start where you are at. Start at your strong. I always tell people start at the strongest point. What you're already doing is good. Develop on it. Improve on it. You don't need to start something completely new. You have no idea how to code. I'm not saying it's bad to code. I've been coding for almost 7 years, right? You have to start on your strengths. You know by yourself that you don't like coding, you don't like math, you don't like solving problems. There's no need to start doing it. There's no need to attempt it. If you want to do it for fun, good, but that you want to make it a career that you love is going to be harder, right? Another thing you have to do is you have to build consistently. You have to show up. Joanna has been showing up. That's why she was able to get grants, workshops, come to Gamerton. In fact, I was admiring her this year. I feel like, besides Oscar, she has probably gone around more than all of us. Joanna has touched this continent more than all of us, because she showed up. She's been building consistently. She didn't just start yesterday. You have to continually build yourself, your game, your community. You have to show yourself. You can't be in a community and keep quiet. That's another thing. You can't say, "Oh, I'm just there and I exist." You have to. And what's in Joanna said, stop existing. Start. Joanna, help me out here, please.
Stop resisting, start existing.
Mhm. Stop resisting, start existing. That should be your motto. Another thing is you have to find your people. I think almost everybody has said this like before. You have to find the people that resonate with you. For Wendy, it's creative tech. Joanna, Wendy, and Faith and FIGN, right? Find your people. Find people be able to amplify your voices that can help you. I when I met Oscar, I told him I have been a part of Africa Comic Aid since before I knew him. Do you understand? Find your people. I was quiet for a long time. Sometimes I always wonder if I was like loud like 4 years ago or so when I joined Africa Comic Aid, where I would have been. Find your people and tell your stories boldly. Don't keep quiet. Even if you don't want to be the kind of outgoing person, WhatsApp has helped you. You don't need to be very loud. A lot of people are honestly they don't like shouting. They are like introverts outside, but they can type, be phone warriors. Talk about your stories. If you make a little game, if you make a little iteration, post about it. I've forgotten his name. Ferrami. I'm pretty sure I stabbed the name in the chest. But Ferrami um made his game and he was posting it, right? He didn't expect it to blow the way it blew. But now he's like have crazy funding for it. So you have to tell your stories, be bold. Even if it seems like it sucks, like Joanna says, even if it's something that's small, the fact that you were able to join the call or you watch the call later, say I did it, and that's what counts later, that you were there and that you showed up. And I hope that you all do wonderful. I can't wait to see everybody in 2026. I can't wait to see African women breaking the ceilings, flying over the ceilings, shattering the glass and shattering everything. Like, oh gosh, like I'm so excited about 2026. I wish you all knew how excited I am. I can't wait for women to win more awards. I can't wait for women build games to win more awards. I can't wait for us to be on the esports stage dominating every single game. It's a dream of mine and I can't wait for it to come true. And I know that it starts with you that's listening to my voice. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, thank you very much. And lastly, Wendy, I want you to tell every young girl out there that one mindset or strategy you want them to carry into the future.
All right. Thank you. So the one thing I would like all of you to carry is the understanding and the knowledge that you are enough. You are enough. And I'd want us to look at a quote by Walt Whitman. Let me just read it out loud. So think of it like you're reading it to yourself, yeah? So I exist as I am, and that is enough. If no other in the world be aware, I sit content. And if each and all be aware, I sit content. One world is aware, and by far the largest to me, and that is myself. And whether I come to my own today or in 10,000 or 10 million years, I can cheerfully take it now, or with equal cheerfulness, I can wait. So, yeah, you are enough. Please remember you are enough because there are so many challenges in the world. And then, on top of that, being a woman also in a tech space that is very male dominated is also quite challenging because people, that the mindsets that we have been, as Sophia mentioned, boys tend to receive all these toys, these gaming equipment, consoles, and all that us ladies did not grow up using. So you tend to feel a bit inadequate because you do not know how to use some of these devices. So you're even scared to join an industry where you feel like you're not comfortable around. But I just want you to remember that you are enough as you are. We also, I don't have a brother. I only have a male cousin, and I remember seeing him receive a console for his birthday. So I've had challenges, but I'm still here because I'm working on myself to remind myself I am enough and I can continue being in this space even when I do not have all the things that I ideally need to have had to properly integrate. Yeah, so please just remember you are enough. Keep on reminding yourself this, and I believe all will be well. You will be able to integrate should you decide to join us if you haven't yet. Yes, thank you.
Very strong. Thank you, Joanna, Wendy, and Sophia. So as you live today, remember, like to everyone, you've listened to them, you've listened to their story, you've listened to what they have to say. Everything, it's just based on their experience and how they've been able to navigate their career paths. So just a take home, start where you are. You can use the resources that are available. There are lots of resources on the internet that you can make use of, and learn on this community. Africa Communicate has created a community where you can learn, build, and thrive. So you are the only one that can build your future. So your future is yours to build in the real sense. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was so amazing having this conversation with my girlies. It was amazing, and this is so impactful. There's so many viral shots from this. There's so many viral short clips from this session we've had, and yeah, it was really a fire conversation. Thank you so much, Wendy. Thank you, Joanna. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you, Hasbi. We'll catch up later. And thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining up to this point. Hasbi, I mean, I'm not sure if she did her introduction, but Hasbi is a teenager and she's, organized like a whole teens hackathon for young girls, and it was absolutely amazing. It was amazing to see. So shout out to Hasbi as well. You're doing amazing stuff for the ecosystem. Thank you everyone for joining. Um, if you have any questions, if you have any questions at all, please drop them in the comments so we can go over them real quick. If there are questions we can't address today, we'll address them tomorrow and all of that stuff. Um, thank you, everyone. I think we see a question from Collins. Thank you, N41L3R. He says amazing women to the panelists. Thank you so much for that. Thank you very much. Do we have other comments as well? Okay, so if you have any questions, if you have any comments, you could share them. You could share them with us. We'll make sure to address them. Make sure to address all of them. We've gone a little bit beyond the time allotted for this session, so we're gonna wrap up now. So we see tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be having the most amazing fire conversations because I mean, like everyone has mentioned, this is a new budding industry, but there's so many ways you could plug into other sectors with the skills that you gain within the industry. So it's really good that you gather these skills and see the opportunities available even in other sectors outside the industry as well. So those are some of the conversations we're going to be having. Also tomorrow we're going to be having the amazing Pascalia speaking a little bit more about her European African Game Jam and how she wants to bring devs cross-continentally together for the Ubuntu Game Jam as well. We'll be having amazing speakers on a panel right after her presentation, and really amazing stuff to come. Exciting. From the comments, I can see, hello team, must I learn programming to get into game dev? We've addressed this, over and over. You do not have to be a programmer, a game programmer, to be in the gaming ecosystem. There are so many roles, and I think the first speaker spoke on that. The panelists spoke on that. If you have some time, do well to review the video so you get to see all of that as well. Uh, Design, responsible spend, all of that stuff has been covered. Review the video and be here tomorrow right on time. Would make sure to keep the time and not stretch 11 minutes past. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for joining. You're free to share these on your socials as well. Tag Women Games, tag Africa Communicate, tag the speakers that you know, connect with them. At the end of the day, we're trying to collaborate and build together. Thank you so much everyone for joining. Have a nice day, have a nice night, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is where you're connecting from. Bye.